What's up, YouTube? Rags here, back with another video, or I should say a fighter interview. This is my fifth fighter interview. We have Mike here, and we have undefeated featherweight prospect Martino Jules. How are you doing, Martino?
I'm doing really good. Doing really good.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. So, hopping straight into the questions. Did your opponent coming in overweight? Did that phase you at all?
It really didn't faze me. It kind of got my team mad because we was expecting a high level of professionalism from his team because he's someone who's been around. He has a lot of experience, so he's not someone who we would expect to have problems with weight like that. Even though his coach, even with the ways, his coach did cause a lot of tension between my coaches, but overall, I was able to maintain focus that whole time.
Yep. Yeah, that was kind of a shocker to me. When I found out he came in a whole 3 pounds over the featherweight limit. So my next question is, did your opponent's dirty tactics, did they surprise you? Him coming in overweight and then doing what he did in the ring.
The overweight was a thing that really surprised me, but but I've been around enough to know that guys like that usually resort to tactics like that. So I really wasn't phased to that. The main thing that I was trying to do was not really feed into it and try not, and really try not to let that, to let my emotions take over the things that my coaches was telling me to do.
All right.
Yes, sir. How you doing today, Martino?
I'm doing really good, man.
My first question I have for you is, what were your first thoughts as you realized your opponent was headbutting you on purpose? Because as we were watching the fight live, I noticed the first time y'all came in, he kind of threw his head in there. I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's just a clash of heads. But throughout the fight, we kept noticing that bro just kept doing it over and over and over. So
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what were your first initial thoughts? When you first got headbutted, you're probably like, oh, okay. When you kept doing it, you're like, this dude.
Yeah. So right off the bat, I was like, oh, he's trying to cut me. So that switched it up to where I was, I was trying to stay more safe and really not, I knew that every time he throw a punch, he's coming in with his head. So I really wasn't trying to open up to really let that head slide in too clean because I wasn't trying to get cut, but then I also wasn't trying to let it swell up my face too because the way that my face structure is easy to get cut, but it's also easy to swell up. So I didn't want, since it was so early in the fight, I didn't want that to affect the fight later on because I already knew we was going to go the full 8 rounds. So my thing was that to stay safe, but try but to keep working. So try to keep throwing punches, try to keep the output out there too. But it was definitely challenging. It was the biggest challenge for it was not to get frustrated. That when you face fighters like that, your main enemy is the frustration. So I really wasn't trying to get frustrated. I was close many times, but I just took a deep breath in and I just looked over to my corner, or during the breaks, my coach kept smacking me, to stay focused and to make sure that I was listening.
So you did a really great job of keeping your poise out there, because I definitely feel you, man. If a dude had been kept doing that, I'd be being frustrated, bro.
Yeah.
Were
I
you?
definitely fell into it during the interns. My bad.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. Were you surprised when you got that knockdown in the eighth round, and did you feel that sealed the deal for you to win the fight?
Um, to answer that last part, I didn't feel like that sealed the deal. Yeah. You could say that like that did seal the deal, but I felt like I was doing it anyway. Um, but that knockdown, it was something that I was expecting was going to happen. I was just, I was surprised that it happened so late. But he kept doing the same thing and kept running into the same hand the same way, and you know, I just knew that one of those punches wasn't going to drop him. Even though I had two knockouts, I think like eight or seven of my opponents have like touched the canvas too. So me dropping people isn't something that really surprises me anymore.
Right, right. So are you interested in a rematch based on what you told us, how you and your team getting frustrated and you trying not to get frustrated? I suspect this answer to be no, but are you interested in a rematch?
Yeah, we would be interested in a rematch if his team acted more professionally. Um, at this level, we're not getting paid rematch money. We're just trying to reach the next level so we could get the money fights. So from the way that his team acted and all the excuses that they made after, we're definitely not doing a rematch. If we were doing a rematch, then it would be at a higher level later on in our career.
Right, right.
Mm. Yeah, I feel you on that, man. Especially on the whole acting like a professional thing. I wouldn't give nobody no rematch if they wasn't acting like a professional.
Yep.
Um, so, what pushes you so hard, and why do you love boxing?
What pushes me and why do I love boxing?
Yes, sir.
What pushes me? That is a really complicated question for me. Because there's numerous other things from when I was younger up to now, and many of it changed. Um, I guess you could say that a few years ago, my head coach, he was also like my best friend brother. Um, he died due to gun violence. Right from mom's house. But me and him had a goal to really make it to the top together. Um, so I guess I want to keep that same mentality now. So that whenever so whenever I do meet him again, I could at least tell him that 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 I pushed and tried to do it still.
Mm.
But the love of boxing, um, you fall in and out of love plenty of times, especially in a sport, which is a lot of the times it's just you doing it. Um, I do it because I know that I have huge potential, so I just keep stepping forward every day. Um, I take it round by round when I'm inside the gym, and I just do what I have to do. The love of boxing, you only love it when you're winning, and fighting one time a year is really tough. You're training year round, and then you fight one time a year. It's something that really frustrates the young fighters. People like me who really don't get paid a lot per fight, but then the opportunity is it just comes very rare. So I just do it because I have a lot of mental strength.
Okay, okay.
I hear you on that, man, and sorry about your loss, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Could we see you move up in weight as time goes by? You know, you're 5'7" with a 70-inch arm reach, which is around the average height and reach for a featherweight. But could we see you move up to super featherweight in the future?
In the future, that's a good question. Right now, I decided to really hold off my career. Um, um, Earlier this year, I had a really bad injury,
Mm-hmm.
so which it really affected my everyday life. So pretty much once I was like back up walking around, I wasn't completely healed, but I was able to move around and move around the side of the gym. We pretty much got this fight offer, and I really wanted to see where my body was at. So throughout the camp, I suffered a lot, and I had a lot of limitations during this camp. Um, and it really showed during this fight. This guy at my best would have been someone that I could have outboxed easily. Really outpointed easily. It would have been a easier fight for me, but due to the limitations from my injury,
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't get that chance. And I know from this point on, I'm really going to be fighting. Really, I'm gonna fight guys who's more skilled, but also in really good shape. So I decided to really take time off to let my body heal. So that when I feel like I could really train to be at my best, then I'll like compete again. So who knows how long that is? Because this injury is something that really takes time to heal. Um, Maybe my first fight back, I could be at 130, but I definitely see myself being at 126.
Okay.
Well, I know you was injured and stuff, but you still put on a show that last fight, man. It was very entertaining. Even though your opponent was fighting dirty, you still a way to dig deep and get that dub, man.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, man. The crazy thing is that last year when I was fighting on ESPN, I was injured too. But that's really because I'm spending months and months in and out of training camp, training hard. I guess you could say that I'm really not giving my body the proper time to really heal, and it's really affecting my performances. So I think really taking time off is something that's really good, especially for when I come back. I can really show my complete skill set.
All right.
For sure. So, letting your body heal up and stuff. What are your future goals for this sport, and how do you want to be remembered?
Remembering is something that's not on my list right now because my future goal is to become a world champion.
Yes, sir.
But world champions come and go. So once I do get that goal of being a world champion, then that's something that would become on the list because then it would be it would become a what's next question. Right now, my main goal is to win a world championship. So that's something that I'm going to do, and I'm gonna take any bout to become a world champion.
Yes, sir.
Yep. My question is, what is your thoughts on, the featherweight division? It's a division that, a lot of people sleep on. That division and the super featherweight division, but we have a lot of good young prospects and contenders like you. So what are your overall thoughts on the featherweight division?
My overall thoughts, man, the top of the featherweight division, man, those guys is really skilled. I have nothing bad to say about none of the top guys. I feel like I have that potential to become one of those top guys too. That door is right there, and I'm ready to open it. I just feel like to be the top, you have to be good. So I have nothing bad to say about those guys. I think if I'm able to compete at the top, then you can say that I'm one of the best in boxing too, because those guys there, the Gary Russells and
Yeah.
because those guys, they have that potential to become Hall of Famers, and that's something that as those people is something that I want to step into the ring so I can test my character too.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir. I feel you now, man. Let's see. All right, so my next one for you, since we're talking about title fights and big fights and stuff, or even money fights, who is your dream fight? Like, what do you think? What fight will take your career over the top? Like, who do you think would be that opponent for you?
Dream fight. I can tell you the two guys that I want to fight right now.
Okay. Yes, sir.
As I mentioned before, I do want to fight Emmanuel Navarrete because he's spoken as a guy that no one in the featherweight division could beat. So I definitely want to fight him.
Yeah.
But then I also want to fight Gary Russell because he has the WBC belt, and that's the belt that all the boxers dream about winning. So
Right.
those two guys is definitely someone. Those two guys is definitely someone I'm working hard for, and I'm really preparing to take any steps to really step in the ring with them. If I get the chance to fight any one of those guys, then I feel like that's something, that's those that if I so when I step into the guys into the ring and beat those guys, then that's someone that that I'll be acknowledged to be like the pound for pound list. So those guys is definitely someone that I really want to fight.
Yeah, the WBO and the WBC champion. I respect that. I respect that. For you taking, trying to fight Navarrete, the man no one in the featherweight division wants to fight. Yeah, I really respect that. What is the story behind your nickname?
Titan?
Yep.
Titan. Basically, throughout the years, man, it took a lot of strength to keep going into the gym and training and really staying focused. No matter what. I didn't hang out with friends. I don't go out party, and I don't do no drugs or anything. And from the city where I grew up from, it takes an incredible amount of fortitude to keep doing that. So I just see myself as someone who has greater strength than the average man.
Right.
That's dope.
Yeah. Yep. So, going back to our few of our first questions, how did you like your last performance? I don't know if you got the chance to rewatch or anything, but you definitely spoke on it as you did rewatch it or something. But what are your overall thoughts on your last performance?
My last performance, man, wasn't as bad as last year, but it wasn't to my liking. I felt like I still won, but if that guy would have been on his best day too, man, it could have went completely south. For the level where I want to go to, that performance is not. That's really that was really the deciding factor on why I am taking time off to let my body heal.
Mm-hmm.
I could feel like that. I know that I could, perform, 10 times better than that. So I really, I'm really not going to push it. Even though that I know I could push it, that doesn't mean that my body could keep up. So I'm just going to take the time off, let my body heal, and then whenever I do step back, hopefully I could, really compete at the level where I believe that I'm at.
Word.
Sir. Yes, sir. Dang, man. The next question I was about to ask you was going to be regarding about the August 21st fight between Spence Jr. and Pacquiao. I was going to get your thoughts on what you thought about that one, but Spence ended up getting an injury, so it's like, man.
Yeah, but we could still talk about a what if factor.
Okay. What do you think?
All right, so I think the outcome would be Spence winning, right? But it's not gonna be an easy fight for Spence because Pacquiao's fast. He holds power in both his hands, but then Pacquiao's able to throw punches at weird angles. He could come at you at weird angles, and that angle issue is where I believe Spence will have his problems at, because he'll try to throw the punches, but then Pacquiao is not there. It's really not going to work out for him, which is going to cause him to open up. If he opens up, he's definitely going to take damage from Pacquiao. But I feel like I was studying Spence for my upcoming fight, and I think Spence has amazing technique, but then he also has power and the knowledge to where to put it at anyway. So I feel like that age gap is really what's going to get Pacquiao to really lose, because Spence, Spence is a workhorse, so Spence could keep going and keep going and keep going. Yep. And I just feel like that's the thing that's really going to really hurt Pacquiao. But then, Pacquiao has the tendency to keep jumping into punches too, and that's something you don't want to do against Errol Spence.
Right. And the final question is, how was your overall experience? I know your last fight before this one, you fought on as the co-main event of Felix Verdejo versus Will Madera. How was that experience, and how was it, being in the bubble for that bout?
For which one? My bad. Are you talking about last year for ESPN?
Yeah, for Top Rank and ESPN.
It was a different experience. We didn't. I'm so used to after weigh in, I get a bunch of therapy done, massages, chirotherapy. So to be, to get weighed in and then to get put right back into the room was really something different. Again, with that mental strength, you have to stay focused out whole time and just deal with it, but then also have knowledge on how to really prepare your body correctly. So, making sure that all your food is there and drink is there too. But that, for an average fighter, that's something that will really break them down before that fight. Mm-hmm. But, but as far as the way that they ran, we still got to do fighter meetings where I got to, talk to Andre Ward and Tiffany Bradley. Backstage from in the locker room, to see the different guys warming up and like to see all the guys in the back who makes the whole show work. It was a wonderful experience. Same thing with it was a little bit different with Top Rank. With Showtime, but I still got to meet a lot of wonderful guys there too. So I could say, when you're fighting on TV and fighting on the big platforms like that, is something that that like gets the blood rushing. And it's something that I'm always gonna is always something that I'm gonna remember, but it's always something that I'm going to keep working for to keep trying to get back to that place.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Got you on that. Yep. So that was the interview. I want to thank Martino for taking the time out to join us. We know he's a very busy man. You know, he has a kid. I believe he may actually have two kids. Martino, how many kids do you have?
Yeah, it's two of them.
Two. Yep. Because I seen. Yep, I see.
And then one is one.
Yep, I gotcha. So yeah, thank you for taking the time out. Mike, you have anything to say?
Before we go, man, let me get your opinion on this one too, bro. What do you think about a future matchup between Crawford versus Spence?
Crawford versus Spence. I don't know. You know, me and my wife talks about it a lot of times, and we really can't decide on the winner. You know, I really don't watch Crawford a lot, but we did like watch his last two, and you know, based on what my wife thinks, she thinks that Crawford is going to beat Spence. I'm kind of on the other hand from where I think Spence is going to get the best of him. So, you know, it is something that we talk about a lot.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So, I can't wait to see you fight again. Hopefully you can fight around the end of 21 or maybe 22 even. And you know, I hope to see you back on another big card, and we hope to see you as a featherweight world champion one day.
Thank you guys.
All right, thank you.
Man. Heal up, bro.
Definitely, all right. Thank you for having me here, right?
No problem.